Hello and welcome to the Learn English Fluently channel, where you can learn English through stories. In this video, you will be learning medical English vocabulary. This story is called The Difficult Patient.
Hi, my name is George. I work as a mental health nurse in a hospital in Liverpool. I work in a ward for dementia patients.
Dementia is a general term for a decline in mental ability that negatively interferes with daily life. It is caused by underlying brain diseases such as Alzheimer's.
I work 3 12-hour shifts a week. The days are long and draining, but I love it regardless. One day, I had a very difficult shift. I encountered a very stressed patient. This patient was called John. He was an elderly 75-year-old man with dementia. John was lovely. He often walked around the ward quietly talking to himself. John liked to get ready in the morning. He liked to wear his suit and tie every day. His favorite routine was as follows: brushing his teeth, having a wash or a shower, eating breakfast. He usually had Weetabix, cornflakes, or a cooked breakfast with eggs and bacon, depending on his mood. Then, after breakfast, he'd sit in the day room with other patients and watch TV. On sunny days, if there was enough staff, colleagues would take him outside for a walk in the garden for some sunshine therapy. John was a lovely man, but one day, he suddenly changed. It was Monday morning. I was starting my night shift at 7:30 p.m. When I entered the ward, I heard someone shouting for their mum. "Who is that shouting?" I asked Nurse Sarah. "That's John," she said with a sad look on her face. "He has deteriorated. He's on 1-to-1 now. He's so difficult." But was he really difficult? I wondered.
1-to-1 is specialised nursing care, where one member of staff is assigned to one single patient. The patient cannot be left alone because they are at high risk of harm. The patient is continuously observed and cared for.
Really? I gasped. I was so shocked to hear that John was now on 1-to-1. I knew that dementia was a progressive disease, but I hadn't expected things to change so quickly. Nurse Sarah and I had a quick handover. I was assigned 4 patients. I entered the room of each patient and greeted them. Riley, a nursing assistant, was on 1-to-1 with John. John was laying in his bed. The bed rails were up for his safety. He had been trying to climb out of bed. "Please let me know if you need anything," I told Riley, and she nodded and smiled.
Handover is when healthcare workers share important information about a patient to other healthcare workers when shifts change. It ensures patients receive safe and continuous care.
2 hours passed. It was now 9:30 p.m. and John still hadn't stopped shouting. He shouted for his mum. He shouted for his wife. It was sad to hear. Then I remembered what Nurse Sarah had told me before she went home. On the day shift, the doctor prescribed John some new medication to help him feel less agitated. Perhaps he will need some lorazepam to help him to sleep, Nurse Sarah suggested. So I went to the medication room. I prepared the lorazepam and put it in a medication pot. I also brought a bottle of water. Before giving John the medication, I checked his identity correctly. I followed the 5 rights of medication administration.
The 5 rights of medication administration are right patient, right medication, right dose, right route, and right time.
"Here is your medication, John. This will help you to feel better," I told him. John fell asleep gracefully. Things were okay, but 2 hours later, John woke up again. He shouted and shouted and shouted. "Help!" Riley yelled. 3 staff members and I ran to her room. John had grabbed onto her wrists and was trying to climb out of the bed. Vera! 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 "Where is my wife?" he yelled. "Riley, please get the telephone and call Vera. We will help him to calm down." Riley quickly ran to get the telephone. I held on to John. Suddenly, he hit me. Luckily, I turned my head, so the contact wasn't damaging. My reflexes saved me. He tried to hit me again, but 3 other staff members and I worked as a team to gently restrain him.
To restrain means to physically stop a person from doing something. It is used as a last resort to prevent harm and promote patient safety.
"Please relax, John. You are okay. You're safe here." I could see him slowly calm down with my words. At that moment, Riley came back with the phone. We put it against John's ear. John calmly chatted with his wife, Vera, for 10 minutes in bed. From the moment he heard her voice, he smiled. "She's coming in the morning to visit me," he said. The staff laughed happily. It was great news for all of us and John. John went back to sleep. "We need to order a high-low bed for John," I said to Nurse Tracy.
A high-low bed is a special hospital bed that can move up and down using a remote control. The bed can be lowered close to the floor. This bed helps to prevent falls and keep patients safe.
The high-low bed arrived the following day. John had forgotten everything else, but he didn't forget his wife. It was tragic, but very sweet to see. John had a peaceful passing on the ward, holding the hand of his wife. Then I realized John wasn't a difficult patient. John was a complex patient. He was a patient who was unwell with a disease that needed patience, management, and understanding. So I made a change in the workplace. There would be no more describing unwell patients as difficult. Instead, we began asking different questions. Was the patient in pain? Were they frightened? Were they confused, overstimulated, lonely, or unable to communicate their needs? Slowly, the atmosphere on the ward began to change. Staff became more patient. Communication improved. We stopped seeing behavior as a problem to control and started seeing it as a form of communication. And most importantly, patients like John were treated with the dignity, compassion, and humanity they deserved.
Vocabulary: recap, dementia, one-to-one, handover, the 5 rights of medication administration, to restrain, high-low bed,